around the world and across Nigeria. If you just joined us, you're still watching Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Now to our main conversation for today. Monday, Okpebholo, candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC, has been declared winner of the Edo governorship election.
Farouk Adamu, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC returning officer, announced the results in Benin City, the Edo state capital, on Sunday.
Okpebholo, a serving senator, won the election with 291,667 votes to defeat his closest rival, Ighodalo of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), who polled 247,274 votes.
Very true. Olumide Akpata, the candidate of the Labour Party, LP, came a distant third with 22,763 votes.
And also the APC, of course, which won the election in 11 of the 18 LGAs in Edo, while the PDP secured victories in the remaining 7 LGAs.
And the off-cycle election in the South states was contested by 17 candidates. And prior to the final declaration, some PDP supporters had staged a protest against the collation of the election results.
Very true. The demonstration took place outside the INEC headquarters where the results were collated.
And during the collation exercise, Tony Iyoha, a PDP agent at the collation center, alleged electoral fraud, claiming that some results were manufactured in favor of the APC.
All right, so that does it for our reading today, and of course what we had that had happened in Edo just a couple of days back, and we have today discussing this with us. Still in the studios is Evans Ofele, barrister, law and public affairs analyst. Thank you so very much, barrister, for hanging on. Yes, and also joining us right about now is Olusegun Okoade, chartered accountant and the public affairs commentator. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome. Beautiful. All right, so let's kickstart the show now. And of course, there we have it. APC has taken the majority of the votes, and of course the Senate president led 10-man governors of the APC to congratulate him, and Adams Oshomel, of course, went spiritual with it, you know, what a miracle God he said, and of course, and that is the story. But tell us, do you really think, realistically, do you think what happened in Edo on Saturday was good enough an election? Let me start with you, Barrister Evans Ofele.
Well, what played out, we had over 2 million plus citizens who have their voters' cards collected. We have 17 contestants, and we have a 40% turnout in the election. 40% turnout in the election in Nigeria is not a party. It means the people of Edo actually came out to vote, to exercise their civic responsibility. Kudos to them for, you know, coming out in that number, okay. But where they soiled it, having come out to vote, where they soiled it is where they went into a very dangerous bend of vote buying, which polarized the system. I mean, the political parties, none of them are exempted, except for maybe those that are not very popular. They were buying vote for as much as 2,000, 5,000, and 10,000.
Some with bread.
Yes. And what happened is that some of the political parties went to the stronghold of their opposition, of the opposing party, and paid high fee. They paid 10,000. And people were changing their minds on the and they did it in a way that you, first of all, after accreditation, you are ordered to another remote place away from the polling booth, where you go collect your 10,000. And they have a communication with the agents. They have a communication with the agents to ensure that the person who collects money voted actually for the party.
I thought it's a secret ballot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a secret ballot. So, but it was so coordinated that what the report now throughout the commentaries were the whole of yesterday, this morning. You understand how they did it with eyewitness and all that. So they teleguided those whom they paid to be able to ensure that they voted for them, and they promised them something after. Okay, most of the people they promised funds after were also complaining and they've not gotten a lot because the one they got was cash. The promise was going to be a transfer. You understand? That they've not gotten this and all that. So this is the level we have descended to. Not only that the politicians have destroyed our electoral system, the people have also collaborated with them because poverty is weaponized, which is not an excuse. The people have also come out to show that they can actually take money and let anybody go in. The man Okpebholo that was dodging interview, where people said he could not speak and he could not talk. When they were making all this allegation, I was just laughing because the average Nigerian does not care whether their governor can speak or talk. What they care about is gratification, that they will collect gratification and vote anyhow they like. They don't care that they have been settled at the polls and they will have no moral justification to demand for good governance. Is an afterthought to them. They don't care about that. Now, the election proper, it was not violent per se, but the technique that was deployed by the politician this time is just outright corruption. Outright corruption. The people collaborating with the politicians, and they went to the polls and you see, I know they are going to court, but even in court, I believe that they are going to be arguing this discreetly who outbought votes or who outsmart the other. That's exactly what they were arguing, because the politicians were all guilty of this. INEC also compromised largely. Yeah, we could see the writings all over the process. And this election is not different from what happened in 2023. It's not different. It's just a prototype of it. And when we also take this further, we're also sure that it's not going to be different from the next Ondo, right?
Yeah, Ondo 2026.
Ondo 2026. It's not going to be different too. And the ones coming. So until Nigerians change their character, now we know that the politicians are not just our problem, but we constitute. Yes, we help them to. I mean, look at what has APC done as a political party at the center or at the respective states, regions, that will warrant them to pick victory.
Now, we're going to come to that. Yes.
I'm sorry. I want to ask Mr. Sheson. Now, the APC agent that was at the collation center that was being interviewed, he made a strategic comment, and I want to state what he said. He said they didn't tell Obaseki to throw away the man who helps them win election in PDP, and that's the deputy governor of Edo State. That's Comrade Philip Shiabo. He's deputy governor of Edo State. Now he decomes to APC. Do you see him playing a role in the victory APC is currently celebrating in Edo State?
Thank you very much. I think if you go back to business, Edo, to me, after my little research, is APC state. If you ask me from onset, Obaseki did what he actually understands to do best with the collaboration of the tribe. Don't forget, Obaseki is not a politician before now. An administrator, an investment banker, for that matter. Shuaib is a core politician who will tell you with pride that the current senator from that state is his godfather, who breathed in and is a grassroots politician. And everyone we attest to.
Yeah, very true.
So when I saw the rivalry and the issue between Shuaib and Obaseki, I knew quite alright that it's going to be difficult for Obaseki, who do not see. These are not things you build within 8-10 years. These are things that Shuaib has built right from the tertiary institution days.
NAS and
SUG. These are things you would have built and understand the dynamics of things. Not that you become a deputy governor and the next thing you feel, no, I have the will with all. What will be happening is what is playing out. You will give out your money, and the politicians who understand the basics will still allow people to collect your money and vote against you. That is the dynamic of things. So, speaking to this, it's not only Shuaibu, Isa Yamu too, is a stronghold in Edo politics, which you can. There are about 4 or 5 of them who actually were not in support of Obaseki. And I keep saying this. See, if you are a leader, a governor for 80 years, and you cannot win the sympathy of your people to say, no, this our governor will stand by them until you give them money, you are a failure. We saw that played out in Lagos during Fashola. At a time, they were not ready to use Fashola as governor for the second time.
To return him, and there was revolt.
People said, Fashola, abandon these people and go to another party. We will shut them. That is the power of the people. That was not money playing out. People saw the dividend of democracy during his term as a governor for the first time. And they were like, don't worry. If the party is not presenting you, we want to support you. But it's a different ball game in Edo. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not winning any sympathy for any one of them. The politician brought us this far, and I can tell you that they keep weaponized poverty, and this vote buying will continue to be the order of the day. Even though it's not right, but I don't see that coming out. Because when they get to office, rather than having good governance to enrich and allow you think straight as an individual, they impoverish you the more, so that when the election is coming, you can imagine giving you 10,000 naira to vote, and for 4 years, because they know that as soon as Monday, see, those close alleys with Monday before yesterday night will find it difficult to have access to it. That's the way. So everybody else is like, what can I get before the noon of the declaration of the election, because I know the next 4 years. And that's not the way to go. You should be able to open up, have good governance, if indeed what they claim. I'm not actually disappointed by what happened. You will see more of it if 10 governors can leave their states, and all we are interested on is solidarity to support just one of our own, is to tell you a lot that, you see, this issue of leadership in the country in any position is no longer of service. It's about personal gain. And you can see the display by Obaseki. Most of the time people will say, let those who understand things, the private sector guy, who will believe they themselves have actually changed the dynamics of things. And I can say they are worse than the so-called civil servant that we're complaining about. They get in there, use the skills that they have, because we expect them to do things differently. But most of the time, they connive, they work, and it's about personal gain. Not just that alone. There are no consequences. How many governors have you heard being punished after leaving office for misappropriation of funds? I will always refer to this in every interview I go. We all heard about the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian. Where is he today? Don't be surprised. Years to come. She's very young. She might be contesting to be the gubernatorial candidate of a party in the state, or even a senatorial. With the amounts of, even when you take them off radar in the public, they work behind the scene to fortify themselves towards what is going, until we devoid our election of money and we have that good governance. We go nowhere. Whatever must have happened in Edo today, it's obvious. The highest bidder won. The highest bidder won. It's about how you are able to share the money, and it's so disappointing that the current governor cannot use some of the dividends of democracy as a strength to, like, this is, when you go to the current president, what is his template for Lagos? It will tell you the people I brought, these are the development they are able to bring. Fashola used to be one of his templates. Say, we have continuity and development. Even if the development is not commensurate to what we thought, but you can come out to say, no, these are the things we see. But in Edo, that's not the story.
All right. But Stefan Sufeli, I truly do understand why you questioned the impoverished minds of those who've collected this bribe, right? As much as we know it's wrong, it's criminal, but let's take a look at this, especially with what Sheson did say, the leadership quality of Obaseki. is it fair to say that what he has gotten as a result of what happened yesterday is insympatical to the effect of what he has provided on the table with respect to leadership in the state? The people collected 10,000 naira, but of course they voted for someone they believed would give them something better than Obaseki. So don't you think it's fair enough?
Well, as far as they collected money to exercise their civic responsibility, it's wrong. There's nowhere in the law, in our laws, where it is Section 26 of the 1999 Constitution as amended is where you have citizens' corresponding obligation. Chapter 2 from Section 13 is where you have fundamental objective and directive principles of state policy, telling you about what government should do. Then 26 now what citizens should do. Part of what citizens should do there is to undertake a civic responsibility. And in both sides, there's nowhere money was mentioned that it should be the yardstick to determine your civic responsibility. So totally and constitutionally wrong. Okay. That because a leader failed, a governor failed in carrying out his responsibilities, then the people should resort to taking bribe to placate themselves or to console themselves.
Even if the actions were allegedly right, even if the actions of voting for the person they felt would give them good dividends of democracy.
Even if their action, even if they determined to vote for Monday Okpebholo, they ought not to have collected money to do so, because when you collect money, you are settled. You will have no more justification to come and ask for good governance. That's exactly what's going on. And if you notice, apart from the fact that they bought vote, they also rigged. Yes.
Alleged.
Yeah, well, that's your, you journalists, you'll be troubling us.
It's still going to court, of course, so the court will determine that.
I know. I agree with you. But where I'm going to is this. At some point, at about 6:50 to 7, people were already saying, now it is clear, I don't know be Lagos. Because even PDP, they were jubilating them from their situation room. Who thought, in fact, before I slept off, I thought PDP won, because that was at the time I slept off, 6:30 to 7. It was all over the social media. I mean, even people in those days were posting. You understand? Even Charles, they have posted that. You understand? I don't know be Lagos, meaning that PDP is coasting on victory. You understand? All of a sudden, from the polling unit,
the last joker.
Yes, the collection center rather, because the polling units were declaring Ighodalo. Even his picture was all over the internet. You understand? But at the dying minute, before you know it, the other parties this over to, and INEC declared Monday Okpebholo. You understand? It was surprising. Then the PDP, they were, I know they are going to court, definitely. Because if you look at the margin of lead, if you look at the margin of lead, when we have that kind of result in any election, the end is not here.
Yeah. Even if APC is 54% ahead, PDP is 47%. It's still
the margin. See now, look at the margin now. The margin is
about 40-something thousand.
They fingered 4 local governments already where there are irregularities, and they have evidence. If the court declared a run in those 4 local governments, or if the court declared substantial non-compliance, it depends on how they are going to draft their pleadings before the court. They will say, you know what, there was malpractice here, and furnish evidence to the court. If the court believes it, the court will make a wrong. But if they draft and say, you know what, we won the election outrightly, this is the evidence. And if the court believes them, the court will, whatever it is. But I'm saying that we cannot conclude on the basis of the results INEC declared that Monday Okpebholo will be the governor for the next 4 years. We cannot. First of all, why do we have off-cycle election in Edo? You remember Osumbo and Adam Soshomole contested that election where Osumbo was declared winner by INEC.
Very true.
And Adams Oshimole went to court. Okay. It was court that gave the victory, the APC victory to Edo State. If you remember, they used to be PDP.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Rocky
Yeah,
trajectory.
Yeah.
So APC got in there by the legal system. Now, they were there up until they had problem with the current governor.
Obaseki as against the Oshimole.
Who now pulled out and then joined the PDP. And on that platform won the election and took the state back to PDP. Now PDP is unable to sustain it by this very action. But it's still not the last on this matter because the court have not spoken. And you see the electors who are supposed to be the determinants. You see how they mess it up. They threw it to the dogs. Okay? Now throwing it to the dogs, the mandate to the dogs, is why the court should set in, because vote buying is irregularity. Vote buying is substantial non-compliance with the Electoral Act. So automatically the court has been dragged into it by the conduct of the electors and the politicians. So what they want to cook this concoction, this ritual. And that ritual, the adverse parties saw it, were part of it. But they're going to use this as a yardstick for litigation. So if the court now look at, because the court believe that every election is regular. You understand? That is the general rule. That every election declared by INEC, result declared by INEC is regular. It's okay. Until you come to prove. And when you are proving, the court is not interested in the irregularity or the substantial non-compliance. What the court is interested in is how the irregularity and the substantial non-compliance affected the outcome. So when you now take all the evidence there, and the court believes you are going to have something else. You are going to take it from the tribunal to the Court of Appeal, then to the Supreme Court. You see the layers. In Kano, in the 2023 election, the tribunal declared the APC winner, right, as against the AMPP.
Yeah.
So the Court of Appeal declared the APC winner again. And on the Supreme Court turned it upside down.
Thank you, Barrister.
So let's not conclude that the election has ended. It has ended, but litigation will continue.
Thank you, Barrister.
Yes.
Okay, Sheson Kwade, now it's as though Edo State is heading to court any moment from the next few months. The parties that lost actually. So if you're to go to courts with the current party that won being those at the highest level, do you think it will be in their favor? That's the PDP. At the end of this thing, it playing out, do you think it will be in favor of PDP? And do you think PDP have enough evidence? Because one thing to go to court, another thing for you to have your evidence in place. Do you think it will favor the PDP people?
Yeah, well, we cannot give the outcome whether it will favor them or not. Like my legal
advice
person said, it's about the fact you place before the judge. Before the court that determines the victory that you get. Most of the time, you have fantastic case, obvious, but if the presentation is wrong, I speak to most of my legal friends, they will tell you she lost on technicality. So there, just like we have in the financial, there are technicalities to every profession. If you don't understand that, you might be presenting a valid case, and on the long run, somebody will come and knock it out. And that will not be it will not be in your favor. But whatever PDP will be bringing to bear, like I said, this election is marked with serious vote buying. I heard when EFCC was saying over 100 people actually with them caught for this vote buying. But like we know, it's just for the press to reiterate and for people like us to discuss. Nothing will happen because we know that there is no deterrent. The only deterrent we have are for the internet fraudsters, and possibly if you wake up and speak against the government, even when you're saying the right thing that can put them on their toes, you can actually be punished for that. But for this kind of a thing, we know that the politicians themselves are involved, nothing will happen and it will just go. That's why, see, before now you don't have as much as the level of vote buying we had in Edo, but it has now become the norm.
But
everybody knows that there is serious poverty.
Yeah, I think it's very important. We keep going on vote buying and vote buying. I'd love to let us know it's not peculiar to us as a country. Now let's look at the U.S. Election coming up November 2024. Now I have it here. I'd love to read an article here which says, while instances of direct cash for votes are more likely to be reported and prosecuted, subtle forms of vote buying involving gifts, discounts, or promises of future benefits might be harder to detect but are still vote buying. Recently, just a couple of days back, interest rate in the United States suddenly, miraculously, came down 0.5%. Isn't that another form of vote buying, even if it's not necessarily cash gifting?
My brother, before that is not to me vote buying. Whatever you do to impact the generality of the people,
that's incentive.
Even if it's not persuasion to get something.
It's you see what that would do.
That goes around.
Both the party, the opposition, everybody is going to benefit from that. It's like
you can argue with the timing.
But that's what I'm saying, because all these years Joe Biden refused to reduce interest rate. Just a couple of weeks to election, they came 4.5%.
Just like what we had at Edo, you save the best for the last. So he has the weapon within. You are taking it as vote buying. He will come out to tell you as one of the government policy, which I've been saying that we might see coming out for this administration. They will take you for like 3.5 years. And few months to the election, you start seeing things changing, and that will just be Joe Biden is at you to tell you that the reduction in the interest rate you're seeing are the result of the past policy that they have put in place that is now working in favor of this. So I won't consider that as vote buying. Okay. He's only coming to use his office, but that is when you say vote buying, is specific to individual and not to the beneficiary of the generality.
2 million. Yes, 2 million plus. Add voters card. Of course, you need voter card to access the gratification. Now 40% came out. That 40% couldn't have been whatever you are giving them couldn't have been good governance to the people.
To the people
is bribe. But in the case under reference, you could classify this as good governance, incentive to the people. In ancient Rome, when the king is happy, it declares free food, sometimes 1 week holidays. You know why Rome fell? Rome fell because sometimes the king lead by impulse. There's no constitution, there's no nothing. So we just look at the community and maybe it's happy that week and declare that week public holiday. And everybody will be, that was how immorality grew in leaps and bounds in the ancient Rome. They fell on the basis of that. We cannot call this vote buying. I know that in the US, they could have their own way of going about campaigns, politicking, and all that. Politicians all over the world are not necessarily different. If they have their ways without laws that will check them, just like in America, they have the laws that you can't even run away after you have committed those offenses. They will track you. Look at the entertainment world. Some of the offenses they committed years ago that they forgot it. They are being tracked today. There's a long list now of people who are being tracked on issues like that. But I don't think that is vote buying. Here, people collect the money and then they come up and you grant interview to the press that the remaining part of the money not collected it.
Okay,
I'm saying.
Thank you, guys. As we cross home, I want to ask this question. We've actually been on the citizens. They sold their votes, and on the politicians. Now, looking at INEC, on a scale of 1 to 100, it is believed that INEC played at least 60% role in the result that the people of APC are currently celebrating in Edo State, because some results are supposed to be collated at the local government level before going to the state, but it was not done. And at some point, the PDP members or PDP agents were not allowed to go into the collation center, which made the Baseki come out to the collation center, which was not supposed to happen. Now, on a scale of 1 to 100, how much can you say the INEC played a role in the situation of Edo State?
INEC's conduct, the political party's conduct, and their agents all must be reviewed in evidence. Okay, I like what the governor did for the sake of litigation. He went there when there were complaints, reports. They have all those complaints as evidence, and it's also on record. Even the judge that this case is going to be assigned to follow that election and knew that the governor went there. You see, in a way, you can see that circumstantial evidence has been built technically. You understand? Okay, now I want to see the draft of both sides, because you see, when you will know truly more about this case as someone who was not there, and even if you were there, you couldn't have been in all the polling units, is when the lawyers draft their pleadings. You will have more insight in what happened on that. Yes, when the adverse party draft their pleadings with the evidence, you will have more insight. And when the case commences, you will see the arguments. You will see what this side is asking for, what that side is asking for, and you will see what the court will rule on. That will give you a deeper insight. That is why those who write commentaries about our political system, who write books, and even foreigners, they are always in court. Yes, they won't conclude that the litigation is over. So after litigation, and when you Supreme Court are final. In fact, in those books, you even see the court processes they filed and what the defense filed, everything. That's a full story of it. So what we are doing today, just serving a piecemeal of what happened there, because we wouldn't have been everywhere. But we know that some things happened. We vote buying, we know that rigging took place, and we know that people were giving gratification. You think that the politicians, you think they are so stupid that they will just give the citizens money, the voters money to go and vote for them, and not give INEC money, even if they are elected. You think they will not? Somebody is going to stamp everything that the citizens have concluded by their own default. So somebody, they too did that. So at the end of the day, what you have, we are just showing the world that the number of observers, that came for it, including Red Cross. I know I was reading the report about 10 countries in Africa that I read that came for that. And there are more. NGOs all over the world, all over the place. People come to observe the election. And they are seeing your citizens collecting money to vote. And they are also seeing them agitating that the balance they have not collected it. They are seeing that. So at the end of the day, it's not an election. Okay.
Thank you. So can we get your parting shot, because we have to call it a wrap at this point?
Yeah, my parting shot is quite simple. You see, you don't just blame one side. We all contribute to some of the failures that we see in here. A lot of people speak while they're on the other side. When they come into the system, we all ask questions what suddenly change. We should all believe that whatever the menace that we are faced with currently is the failure of years back, which is haunting us today, and we just need to look for a way to correct some of the wrongs that are happening. And the fundamental of it is having this, what I call consequential management, where there are consequences for wrongdoing, and you don't make, you see, it has gotten so bad that in our system today, when people are doing the wrong thing, it looks like the normal.
Exactly.
And when you are doing the right thing, people start faulting you as in, are you the saint in the old world? You see a lot of this happening. I keep asking myself where somebody will follow one way because a law enforcement agent is in the vehicle, and you consider that normal. And that law enforcement agency that is supposed to enforce the law is encouraging such act. It's that bad. So people, those days that we join commercial buses, you see people hunting and say, no, it's not the front seat. Staff, we want to carry staff. And you are part of it. That is an area which I have called. The other time I made that as a point of call on everybody that law enforcement agency are to enforce the law. You should not. It happens as close as when we're actually fixing our road here in Kenya. People look out and look for a law enforcement that is just staying on his own.
They say, come and willingly, because they know with that they can perpetrate that. We must go back to the situation where those that are in charge of enforcing the law enforce the law, at least with the conscience that we are building our nation, and those that are caught doing the wrong thing are actually punished. Once that is, we're able to establish that, we are towing the path. Because I can tell you, in this just concluded election, no one is exonerated. Exactly. All the parties, even you said those small videos, they did in their constituency. You think it's easy to get 200, just 250 something votes
with like 5,000 policemen.
They, all of them, it may not be as much as what the bigger parties will do. They, in their own closet, have a way of actually saying, if they are giving 2,000, they can give 500. But it brought to bear, we did not just I'm waiting for the financials, because I imagine the logistics that will take care of 35,000 law enforcement agency in these states. I'm sure that will definitely be played out, and that's why I feel that this advocacy for state policing might be the way to go. I'm sure several people were drafted from other states when we are complaining of insecurity just because of a state. Why can't we man some of these things and speak to that level where we say, let's go technological wise so that we can minimize. An election came up in UK and it's as if nothing happened. You know, but you can imagine that day, the whole day, people that are on daily earning are able to earn anything, maybe except for those that actually came out to take their own fair share of the vote buying. But we should look for a way to discourage this and carry out our election and allow our economic activities to still go ahead, knowing fully well that people earn daily living. Not everyone is on monthly pay as the way we all think.
Thank you, sir.
True. They say different strokes for different folks. Kinesics, those are body language experts, all right, who analyzed the victory of Monday Okpebholo, said that he doesn't actually look like someone who was happy that he won, because at the time he was, of course, it was even Oshomole and the Senate president that was, they were even more happier than him.
It's not a speech, it's not a speech person. But my parting shot is that the way the average Nigerian will break the law and not be remorseful about it is the bigger problem. They are not remorseful. They don't even know that they have broken the law. They should be in prison. They don't know, or they should be charged by today. And 5,000 policemen deployed there. That thing, that vote buying, under their watch, happened. And no, they did not arrest one person. The police did not arrest one person. It was EFCC that came and spotted some 100 persons and arrested them. And at the end of the day, this attitude of breaking the law every time, this attitude of going to the expressway to defecate, this attitude, I remember when this man, this current governor, the Lagos State Governor, former Lagos State Governor, Ambode, when Ambode did the beggar bridge here, you know, he put net.
Yeah,
so that people won't be barricade crossing.
People won't be crossing. After the net, I will drive, you see a citizen who will cross the road and be looking at the net like you put a road, where pass. It's not just a net, they put a net so that you will not cross.
To my 12, where they put these barricades, wires. Yes. They even have this with pointed fins that you don't want to go there. Open it, bend it down, and I add, these are taxpayers' money that you are wasted. So
us too. Our citizens, we need to do something about them. A lot of people have mental health issues. And they are just going up and down.
Thank you, Barrister. Thank you, Chef Sakwade.
Well, very well said. I truly did enjoy our discussion today, and I'd love to say thank you to Barrister Fansofeli for being part of the show today. Koade, thank you so very much, sir. We truly do appreciate your time. Thank you so very much, Oma.
Thank you,
as always, for being part of our show. But most importantly, you've watched. We would love to say thank you to you. But please do well to see us anytime that you can at Enterprise TV News.com, and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. I am Henry Ighodalo.
And I'm Choma Okohe.
On behalf of the entire team, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Rise and early. Bye-bye from us.
Bye.